Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And, well, I'm wearing a tie, so must be something serious. No, actually not. We're going to enjoy some fairly quiet weather over the next couple of days. Look outside, and we have bright blue skies and sunshine, light winds. Today is a great day for a winter walk. If you have enough snow or in one of the parks, you go for maybe a little cross country ski, especially in southern Connecticut, where you picked up the most snow. So, it's a day to, and plus, there's a lot of things to get done here. We're in Hanukkah, we've got Christmas, and, there's always things that need to be accomplished. And today, the weather does not get in the way. Yesterday, if you were out and about, and I was grocery shopping, and it was cold. I was carrying the grocery bags and pushing the cart out to the car, and I was just like, man, this is nasty. But the reason I went grocery shopping is that my wife made tortellini soup, and it was so good that I'll shop if dinner comes out like tortellini soup. You know, I see something. There we go. That's much better. I fixed the stream. I felt like I was being framed there by rainbow colors. Okay, so we're okay now. So here it is, Tuesday, and we go to the rundown because that leads us through our weather diatribe, and it's still quite chilly. Temperatures are in the 20s, heading for the lower 30s today, and it'll be milder tomorrow and milder on Thursday. Each day gets a little bit milder. Pleasant, really. So there's that. We do have a Grinch storm brewing for Friday, meaning that it's going to take away our Currier and Ives scene that we're enjoying, and it's going to ruin it because the snow is going to melt and wash away, no matter how much you have. Unless you're Mohawk Mountain, Mount Southington, Ski Sundown, Powder Ridge. They make snow by the foot and pile it up and make, they'll be fine for the holiday week, the time between Christmas and New Year's. They will be fine because it's a one-day interruption to our chilly weather. And we'll get to that chilly weather in just a minute. One-day interruption, one day. Other than that, that's kind of what we're watching. So let's show you as we go full screen just how beautiful this morning was. We did have a deck of clouds around, and Tom found this wonderful picture of Lake Pockatapogue. Say it with me. Lake Pockatapogue in East Hampton. Tom's quite a photographer, very patient, waits for that right light and just finds that beautiful image. And quite nice. Yesterday, I shared a couple of pictures from Shelton, and Robin shared a picture of a cardinal. But I love all birds. I'm a total bird nerd, and I admit it. And for those of you that don't know, this is the dark-eyed junco, very common bird around here during the winter months. Usually it's a sign that winter is coming when they just start becoming way more active and they come down from Canada. I think they come down from Canada in their migration. They hang out here in the winter because the winters in Canada are worse. And they summer up there. And they're cute little birds, and they usually are ground feeders, but in this case, a railing feeder. But they also, growing up, they never went to the bird feeders I had, but now they go to the bird feeders. Birds evolve. They're smart, and they know where the food is. So that's the dark-eyed junco. I thought you might enjoy that. Did you? I don't know. Take a look at the temperatures, and you can see below average or below seasonable temperatures for 14 of the first 15 days, and today will be below average. That one day, the 10th, when we were slightly above average. And the rest of the time, we've been below average. So we're, as far as departures go, 8 to 9 degrees below average is silly huge. That is consistent cold. And we have an interruption coming up for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when we'll see above average temperatures. They may end up averaging out very close on Wednesday and Thursday. But I think Friday will be well above average, probably something like plus 10 degrees. Then after that, I think we chill out once again. So this month is I don't think there's any way, looking at some of the patterns, that we're ever going to be above average for the month. The month is just, the departure's just too huge. So let's talk about the here and now. Sunshine is the rule. Now remember, quiet weather today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Quiet, passing clouds, light winds now, a little breeze tonight, a little breeze tomorrow. The breeze is out of the southwest. That's a mild weather direction. And temperatures head up into the 40s for Wednesday and Thursday. And that's nice. Maybe even low 50s on Thursday. We have a little bit of a kind of a pseudo warm front that goes by. You see a couple little flurries or a sprinkle, but the trend here is really quite pleasant. So for today, mostly sunny and a light south breeze, partly to mostly sunny, pleasant, but still 5 to 7 to 8 degrees below the average. The average high is 40 for the interior, and we won't be close to that. But I say pleasant because it's way better than yesterday, and it's not even close. Then tomorrow we actually will spike slightly above average, highs 40 to 45. And when we go on to Thursday, I think 45 to 50, maybe even cracking 50. And then 56 on Friday is that Grinch storm. And then we fall back to at or below average Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so that's how the temperatures set up. A quick look at a few comments that have come in. Any sow in the near future? Isn't a sow a pig? Is it a male pig? Somebody help me out with farm animals. I know what you're getting to, Alexander. I'm just having fun with you because we can. Any snow in the near future? No. Near future being between now and Sunday. The only way we'd get a little bit of snow would be on the backside of the Grinch storm that I'm going to show you in just a minute. And it wouldn't amount to much at all. It may help northern New England replenish, reload, but not down here, I don't believe. Okay, so Alexander, I'm just having fun with you. And don't apologize. I'm just having fun. Heading to Florida Sunday. How can I stay informed about the weather in other states? Driving down. Okay. Negra, what you do is you get your device, okay? And you go to the App Store, all right? And you download the NBC Connecticut app. Okay, it looks just like that. Okay, you click on weather, and the weather looks like that. Okay, and then you go up to the upper right, and it has locations. And you hit your locator, and you say, I don't know where you're going, but I'll just say Clearwater, Florida, and it gives you the 10-day for Clearwater. All right, apps are helpful. Download ours. Go to the App Store and search NBC Connecticut, but it geotags you to a spot like Clearwater or St. Augustine or Palm Coast or West Palm or Miami or Key West. You want to Key West? Oh, that'd be one way to spend Christmas. Heading to Florida on Sunday. Well, and safe travels and download our app. And thank you. You're welcome, Negra says. Thank you. Yeah, see, social media can be civil and friendly and happy. Let's look at the Grinch storm. This doesn't make me happy. I don't like these type of systems. Okay, first up, high pressure. The air flowing around high pressure comes around clockwise. Tick, 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 clockwise. And that brings in the milder air. So when we talk about 40s and 50s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's all because of the big blue H. But as the big blue H moves even farther off to the east, well, that south to southwest wind can become enhanced. And now, instead of just, a sunny, fair weather day, we've got a whole low-level jet stream we got to look at. Okay, we got to look at mean stuff. Out ahead of this cold front, it looks like there could be some really kind of nasty rain and gusty winds and that sort of thing. So when we look at this, it's not pleasant. This is not this is not what we like to see during the days leading up to the Christmas holiday. Late December, we should be having snow. Right. Speaking of snow, I did mention that there could be some help for northern New England as the wind comes around to the north behind this system. Northern New England, if you're going there for the holidays, they're going to just reload, replenish, and get another upslope event happening at Stowe and Jay Peak and over there and toward and Lake Effect and the Adirondacks. Here, some of that snow could sneak down here. Again, one of the first questions was any snow in the future. And the only way we get a little bit of snow in the near future is on the backside of the system, and that's not something we usually give much credence to. Northern New England, fine. Maine, fine, but usually we don't get much wraparound, especially with this thing called a lakes cutter cutting into our snowpack. Okay. By the way, Negra checked back and said, Clearwater. I've been to Clearwater. I love Clearwater. I think that's a beautiful spot. For sure. The sand is so soft. There's great restaurants there by the waterfront. Clearwater Beach. Very nice. Good for you. Enjoy. I hope you have nice weather down there. It hasn't been so great at times in Florida of late. Rainfall amounts. Okay. This is another, this isn't great. You don't really want this. But this is what we're going to have. I don't think I can do that. No, can't zoom in. You don't have to. But what I can show you is that, look at the numbers. 0.86, 0.77, 1.05. This is model data for how much rain can come down. And that's rain and melted snow for some at least. That's a pretty decent drink of water in December, which you really don't want. This can lead to some hydroplaning on Friday, some minor poor drainage flooding on Friday, minor being the key phrase, but there will be some periods of heavy rain. And Quentin says, every December, these rainstorms. I know. It seems like that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not great. But it is. Well, you got to remember, we're still not even Friday. We're not even in winter yet. So it happens. The winter solstice, of course, is on Sunday, leading into the holiday week. The other thing we have to watch carefully with this particular weather system, as the front kind of works its way in here, is these gusty winds. They're out of the south, very gusty winds. And of course, I put the arrow right on top of the numbers. So let me take that down. Out toward the Cape, there can be winds of 50, 60 miles an hour on Cape Cod. Around here, it's an interesting setup. And I think we will be able to mix down some of the wind that's at the mid-levels and low-level jet stream. So here you see 35 to 40, 45 miles an hour. That's not, it's not horrible. But if we mix down anything stronger, that could lead to, some tree issues and stuff. But I don't think that's going to be a big issue on Friday, as he tried to say, as that frontal boundary streaks by. So, yes, so it's a Grinch storm, gusty winds, not very pleasant. Let's take a look, though. 8 to 14-day forecast. I wonder if Anthony changed this on me because I see that he's doing some work. He's got to get ready for the 11 a.m. news. But I want you to notice we have this signal of some, very, very warm air. All right, this big upper level ridge and all this warmth and stuff like that. All right, so the jet stream would look like this. He tries to draw and he does an okay job. And that keeps us in the Northeast from getting too warm. So the signal here is for below average temperatures continue, or at least average. But what that does do, it takes away the potential for what they're calling, what some online meteorologists are calling torchmas. The rest of the country might be in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s from north to south in the nation's midsection and out west. But not here, okay? Climate Prediction Center is really quite good at what they do. But I mention this, and I've mentioned this every day. Sometimes along a gradient of warmth and cold, you get a boundary. And along that boundary, or very close to it, you can get a series of low pressure systems. Now, this would be around Christmas, 24, 25, or up to New Year's, 29, 30, 31. So isn't that interesting? We could have a storm track frontal boundary situation where warmth is trying to build to the north and east like this, but cold air is cutting down from Canada. Ooh, that was a bad arrow there. But we still have the cold air kind of locked in here. That's an intriguing setup. That's something we have to watch in the long term. So when I say that, here's why. I'm going to go into the American forecast model. I'm going to let it run through its the days next week from Sunday. Oh, okay. I can do this. All right. I have to override something. And this is from Monday, the 22nd through Christmas. And I just want you to notice. Now, let's not get caught up on location. Let's not get caught up on precipitation type. And that's what sometimes we overdo what we try to do. And we try to get too crazy when we're talking about next week, days 6 through 10. But I can't ignore that there's a clipper of some sort, possibly on Tuesday, and then possibly on Wednesday into Thursday. Now, I'm traveling Thursday and Saturday or Sunday. And that's a signal. That's something I might have to monitor. Okay. And just can't ignore that one, especially, which is Wednesday into Thursday. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but isn't that intriguing? Isn't that intriguing? Now, that's the global forecast system, the American model. And I'm not saying it's written in stone. Nothing is written in stone days 5 through 10. Nothing at all. Zero, zilch, nada. But could that lend itself to the potential for a white Christmas? Again, it's too far out to get too precise, but you can't ignore it. So, when we look at the 10-day forecast, and again, we have to be careful when we put this out there on television and online, because it's apt to change. So I go back to the 10-day. It's apt, it always changes, but this part of the forecast, I can't use that. It's too bad. That would be kind of cool. Ooh, that's weird. That's what happens when you click. I've been clicking too much here. I was trying to circle days 6, 7, or 7, 8, 9, 10 are apt to change because of what I showed you there with the American forecast model, and the European forecast model is not that far off. Okay, so take a look at that 10-day. Know that days 7, 8, 9, 10 could change. Okay. Peter says, just stop. Well, that's not very nice. I'm just giving, or maybe he's talking to Quentin, because a lot of times people just get antsy when Quentin brings up, has climate change increased these December rainstorms? Quentin, that's possible. It's a combination of a few things. It's, the overall weather pattern is, the last couple of winters have just not been conducive to big December snows. So that's partially due to climate change, partially due to the setup of the atmospheric, factors like the North Atlantic Oscillation and La Nina and El Nino and the Pacific, the PNO, and there's so many, there's ENSO, and there's a million things you can sit here and talk about. But the bottom line is climate change is probably one of the reasons, but not the only reason. Like, you just can't say, oh my gosh, we're never ever going to have December snow. We just proved that wrong. And then you look at Jay Peak and they've had 180 inches of snow. So again, it's not one or the other. It's many different factors playing together. Okay. Sean says 30 degrees on my thermometer. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for long-term forecast review. That is what I'm most interested in. Well, thanks, Michael. I mean, it is what it is. It's not easy. And Peter, this is nice. Okay, so we turn on the hype machine. Like, what are you talking about? I just mentioned that days 7, 8, 9, 10 are apt to change. Didn't hype anything, didn't talk about amounts or even type of precipitation. Just said that the pattern is still active next week, and the signal in the Northeast is for temperatures to be at or below average. That's not hype. That's just fact. All right. I know sometimes you have to dip it in fact. So yeah, I know that's hard to understand, that, sometimes we just dip it in reality, but that's the way we do it. That's the way you do it. So that would be your 10-day forecast. And again, rain and wind on Friday. And then Fair weather over the weekend. It's a very busy time of year for holiday parties, get-togethers, and everything else. And the weather should be fine, cool but not cold. Probably pretty windy, I would say, on the backside of the system Friday afternoon, Friday night. So it's windy with the rain, and then windy when the rain ends, just different wind directions. Maybe that's what Peter calls hype. It's going to be windy from the south and windy from the northwest with this Grinch storm on Friday. Then after that, winter arrives on Sunday with the solstice. And next week we have fair weather. But as I mentioned, there's going to be a series of clipper systems that could bring us some types of precipitation, whether it's rain, snow, or mix. Nobody knows. Well, somebody knows, but I'm not going to tell you that I know because it's not that simple. Okay, it's just not that simple. Quentin says, let it snow on Christmas. There is no football on regular cable. I guess, Quentin. A lot of people would say, no, when it snows on Christmas itself, it messes up a lot of families' plans because we know in this day and age, if it snows 2 inches, you got to plow it, treat it, move it, plow it, treat it, blow it off, and people have to work. And so we don't really want that to happen on Christmas itself. Okay, so let's just, again, dip that in reality. Because we don't want that. Okay, so I will circle back and I'll answer any other questions or comments, and thank you for stopping by. Okay, and I think you've noticed we're going to make this pretty much a daily part of the routine. And with that, when the weather gets bad, like Friday, I'll be here with you, and we'll be talking about the current conditions and not projecting out as much. So it's a two-way conversation piece, and I'll be here. All right. So have yourself a great day. Even you, Peter, who says I'm just hyping. Have a great day, everybody.